Hello and welcome to another episode of Back to the Blockbuster. My name is Gaius Bowling, and of course, I'm joined with my boy Jack.
What's good,
Uh,
fam?
we are down. We are down at Owen. Owen's not feeling well, but we have two people to take his place tonight, which is kind of a neat thing for us because we're doing like a real special episode for the Jurassic Park franchise, kind of looking back at it a bit with Jurassic World Dominion coming out this Friday, and then we have a couple of like news items at the top of the episode to kind of get into. But I will introduce you to our guests tonight. Derik has actually been on the show before. We did an episode on female-led action movies, and I'm just going to let him jump in because he has a lot that he does on in the podcasting world and then on Twitter and Instagram. So I'm going to let you take it away, and then you tell everyone what you're all about, Derik.
Okay. Hi, I'm Derik. I am a certified bad bitch. Okay, that's what you need to know first and foremost. I am the host of Ratchet Book Club. I am also one of the hosts of Hindsight. Ratchet Book Club is where I read hood classics and good classics. Like literally, somebody told me, you can't do that, right? And I was like, read? And they were like, no, read these books like online. And I was like, no. And they were like, you mean no, you can't do that? And I was like, no, I didn't know I couldn't do that. And that's what I'm going to tell the cops when they knock on my door. But right now I am reading Dean Koontz's From the Corner of His Eye, which is like one of my favorite books of all time. It's like perfect. Before that, I read The Princess Bride, and then I read Old Thought Next Door and Hot Pussy for Sale and Horsin'. And so, like I said, hood classics and good classics. One of my favorite ones was a book called Fuckboy Blues. That was fun.
Sounds like my life.
And then Loving My Wife and Her Sister Too, part 1, 2, and 3, because you got to get that all out.
Sequels.
I am also the host of the RTO Podcast Network, which started off with us watching the TV show, the HBO TV show Oz, and discussing that episode by episode. After we finished doing that, I was like, let's fuck around and find out. So we discussed the one season wonder that is ESPN's Playmakers. And we called that one Cocaine Cougars because their team's name was the Cougars, and there was literally a running back snorting coke off a toilet. So Cocaine Cougars. And now
that show, I think it was Omar Epps. Isn't it?
Yes, Omar Gooding.
That show was wild. I remember the scene where he's licking cocaine off the carpet when my mom was eating dinner behind me. I was like 13 years old. It was like, wow.
So
late call.
So the thing about that show that nobody remembers is the fact that it was the reason why ESPN was like, yo, we'll only take this shit off the air if y'all give us the fucking NFL. If y'all want us to not have a second season of this shit, you better give us everything we fucking want, NFL. And then all of a sudden, it was gone. But yeah, so we have a one season where we discuss that, and it is fucking bonkers bananas. It's great. And then after that, we're on the 4th season of Orphan Black. So
nice.
We have one more season of that, and then I'm going to force them to discuss The Wire because it's the 20th anniversary.
Fantastic.
I also have a mental health podcast called Unburdened, a pop culture podcast called Single Simulcast, a storytelling podcast called Storytellers, and other ones. But I've been in podcasting for so long that if you type Rashani into Google, Rashanii, it's black. If you type that into Google, I come up. Like, I'm that fucking dude. I started before SEO. So if you type that in, all of my shit comes up. And I am literally like your ex-girlfriend. I am everywhere that you are. Even if you don't want to see me, I am right the fuck behind you.
There you go.
Okay, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah, so Joe, try and back that one up with an intro.
Yeah, no way. So, like, how many podcasts did you say you have?
Honestly, I think I have 9.
Oof, more power to you. Power to you.
It's just about compartmentalizing. And then I also coach and I cater, and I'm a husband and a father of 4. So it's really about, just finding the spaces to make sure we stick to that schedule for shows. Other than that, it just flows as it goes.
I had a gas pain in my side earlier and thought I was going to go to the hospital. So that's been my day. Like, I have nothing else going on. I don't know how to take care of myself. I have one podcast. We both have colds, so we didn't do our podcast, but here I am with yours. So more power to you. I am not of that breed. I cannot.
No, it is okay, because a couple months ago, I woke up for work at like 5 a.m. and I was brushing my teeth. And I realized at the point where I was brushing my tongue and trying to deep throat myself so I could vomit, so I could call my boss and say I was sick, was the moment where I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm doing a bit too much podcasting and need to rest for a while.
It sounds like the premise for a 10th podcast.
Also, I have no gag reflex, ladies and gentlemen. That's the other thing I found out. I was very disappointed.
He eats the whole entire fucking toothbrush. Damn it! got a consistent Colgate mouth for the rest of his life.
Oh, Jesus. All right, Joe. Well, tell us about what you do.
Yeah, well, apparently
Joe.
not much. I'm Joe from goined.movies.com. I run goined.movies.com. It's regular reviews of new and upcoming releases. We have a podcast, the Guide to the Movies podcast with Joe and Sean, that I do with my partner Sean from Math Teacher Movies. We just hit 100 episodes last week, which was kind of fun.
Nice.
Yeah, it felt
Congratulations, fam. That's big.
Thank you. Instagram, Guide to Movies, Twitter, Guide to Movies 1. And this week I'm starting to cover Tribeca Film Festival, going up there on Friday. Yeah, first time in person. So I'm a little disoriented because it's New York. So you would think with a festival that all the shit would be together, but it's not. Right? So, I'm used to I do the Philadelphia Film Festival each year, and it's there's these 2 theaters we're using right down the street from one another. Here, I'm trying to catch the subway, figuring out how much money I'm going to spend to get from one movie. It's a pain in the ass. So I got that going on, covering a small film festival in California called Dances with Films remotely. Nice. And then covering Bentonville Film Festival in Bentonville, Arkansas, which doesn't sound wonderful, but it's actually a lot of fun. It's where I saw Coda last year, actually, which is kind of cool. But it was started by Gina Davis, and it focuses on female filmmakers and underrepresented filmmakers. So it's a really, really cool one. But I am drowning in some of these movies right now, but having a good time watching them because it's always fun.
Awesome. Isn't Bentonville where Walmart was created?
Probably, because they're the number 1 sponsor for the festival.
Yeah, I was I know that name. They're on the bottom of all my toilet papers.
That's amazing.
Oh God.
Hey, I mean, I'm not surprised that Walmart's in the film game. You got to have everything.
Oh Jesus. Well, of course we'll have.
They're not informed because they've been fucking us for years. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's great. Sorry, I just choked on my spit. Yeah, of course we'll have all the links, including all of Derik's links, in the description of this episode, so you guys can discover what these guys have to offer. So let's kind of just get into it. We have a couple of news items on the top of the show. Jack and I, well, actually, I won't say Jack and I, because Jack was actually close with his weekend 2 prediction for Top Gun Maverick. I was way off. On my weekend 2 prediction. So I predicted on Joe Blow, not on the show, but on Joe Blow, I said it would make $60 million in weekend 2, and that still would have been one of the best second weekends after Memorial Day weekend. And it became very clear that was not going to be the case, and it was going higher. They originally reported it at 86.1 million, I believe, and that was a 33% drop from last weekend. And then it ended up being a lot higher when the actual numbers came out today at 90 million, which is a 29% drop, and it is the best second weekend drop for a movie that's opened to over $100 million.
I can't remember.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can't remember. I think I said 100, right, or 90.
You said 80. You said 85 to 90. Somewhere there.
I knew it. I knew it would play out. I knew it would. It would go over week to week. I saw it. I was a part of that 90. It was fantastic. Has everyone seen it?
Yes.
Yeah.
My only thing with it is, and it's literally the most annoying thing ever, it's that they don't mention where the country is that they're like the mission is from. Like, just, like zero like inclination of like, oh, it's just a hilly mountain, like also like the most perfect like mountain, like that was like my only like that. And then actually I didn't realize this until after, but Penny is like replaced. Like no one's like, that was very under the radar, like throughout the entire like moving up to it. And then like when Gay said like, you know, she's in the movie, it's like, oh, okay, she's like a new character or something. Then I watched the movie and I'm like, where was this character in the first one? I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, why do you have all this context? And then after the fact, my friend's like, oh yeah, they switched her out. The actual actor who played in the first one, she didn't age like Tom Cruise. So yeah, she got the hook. So those are my two things. But like, other than that, fantastic. And I knew people were gonna be like, I have to see it now that, you know, everyone else saw it. So interesting to see the demos of what it was.
Yeah, you know what's funny though is that Jack is acting like a box office aficionado because he had a closer guess for second weekend. His first weekend guess was $72.5 million, which was way off for what it ended up opening to. And to be fair,
yes, it was way off. I mean, apparently 35-year-old men don't want to hang out on the beach and drink beers. They'd rather go to a movie, but neither here nor there.
But I will go to you, Joe, and then Derek. I mean, I guess it's obvious why it's playing so well because it's a really good movie. But what do you? I kind of want to ask you guys: were you expecting it to hold this well this weekend? And then how do you think it's going to hold up? Because it didn't have any competition this weekend. It has competition with Jurassic World opening this weekend. Do you think it'll still hold up as well as it's been holding up with that movie coming out too?
Yeah, I think it's definitely just word of mouth. I mean, it has an A+ cinema score rating, which is crazy. Yep. And apparently a lot of people follow cinema score because it's referenced everywhere. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's just, if it's not a Marvel movie, then word of mouth is going to drive it. And with this, you're getting word of mouth that's nonstop positive. Tom Cruise has some hold over like, you know, 40 and 50 something people that just love him. And, you know, even, you know, I'm 35 years old, but even my generation is like used to Tom Cruise being a pretty solid draw at the box office and delivering. So this is just a really good damn movie. I'm someone that doesn't love the first one. You know, I'm kind of like on the outside there, but when I saw this one, I was like, holy shit, is this one of the best movies I've ever seen? Because I really loved it. So I think it's going to hold up pretty well. It's not going to hold up nearly as well as it did this past weekend because you have a juggernaut coming in with a lot of, you know, IP mileage behind it with Jurassic World. But I think it's still going to hold up pretty well. It's Top Gun. It's, you know, America. Fuck yeah. That's what this is.
It's true.
And it's funny because I don't think the movie really does that. Everyone's always like, America, Top Gun. I don't think this movie does that. I think it plays it kind of safe in that sense.
Yeah.
The first one definitely is all about like, you know, hoorah.
Well, they're fighting Russians, so yeah.
Yeah, that's true too.
Also, I think that's another reason why they didn't name a country, because like they made it 3 years ago and now everything's a shit show. That place could have easily been in Ukraine.
Right, it can be absolutely any country right now. So they're just like, we'll leave it open to interpretation.
They were like, take all references of whatever country this is.
You know, the thing about this though is with it coming out Memorial Day, it's going to have a good run all summer. Like this is going to be one of those movies that stays in theaters because people will go back to see it again for the experience. It's exhilarating.
Yeah, I think it's already getting like a lot of repeat business too. I mean,
absolutely.
Some of the people on our Joe Blow comments have said they've seen it like four or five times already. And it's appealing to not just like the older demographic. They really, especially this weekend, it really kind of played to like a younger crowd too, and with females, and like it's really attracting like everyone. Which is,
and I have a point to that, but I want to hear what Derek's got to say first about something. But I want to like to the youth movement of this movie. I'll let you know, it's wild.
Just the other thing I'll mention real quick before jumping to Derek is it's the specialty box office too with IMAX and you know Regals with like the Screen X and shit. Like I was like, oh, maybe this is a movie I'll actually finally go see on Screen X, and it actually was like pretty filled up. Which is kind of crazy because I didn't think anyone went to those. But it's IMAX and stuff that's going to drive it. I think it loses IMAX this weekend with Jurassic World.
Yeah.
So that will hit it a little bit, but otherwise, it's a powerhouse movie.
Yep, for sure. All right, Derek, what you got?
So
Clear the throat.
Yeah, make sure my door is closed before I say this. So I was minding my own business yesterday, playing video games, being Derik, being cool, you know, the usual. And my wife walks in and she's like, "So, do you want to see Top Gun?" Which ranks right up there with, "Do you want me to cup your balls while I suck your dick?" As things that I would never expect my wife to say in the middle of the afternoon. And of course I said yes.
People whose door is open, by the way.
My door is open because I don't give a fuck. Too far away for me to fucking walk, and my wife knows that those two things are the yes answers on my list. Like, yes, cup the balls, and yes, I want to see Top Gun. Cup the balls while I watch Top Gun because that's what it felt like. I am not surprised that this movie did as well as it did. It's the only fucking movie that was out there. Somehow they decided to put Morbius back out. Like that was gonna do something. So you leave
Morbius out of your mouth. All right,
I will fucking not until somebody tells me why there were stink streaks running off their body as they ran down that subway. I will talk shit about Morbius until the day I die. So anyhow. This movie was at the theater that I was at. The options were this movie, Bob's Burgers, which I will see at some point. But again, it's Bob's Burgers. I feel like if I don't see it immediately, it's not going to kill me. Right. And I want to actually watch the series all the way through before I watch Bob's Burgers. Top Gun, Bob's Burgers. I still call this place fucking Downtown Abbey. I know it's not. I know it's Downton Abbey. But, bitch, I'm putting the W in that motherfucker. How the fuck did you decide to just take a word and take the W out of it and be like, Coke, motherfucker? No. Downtown Abbey is the third movie. Then they had Morbius. And then they had one more movie that I didn't even walk into that was probably like some indie overseas flick that I'll see later. There's no way that Top Gun wasn't going to do well these past couple weeks. There was no way. Like, there's the pickings are scarce right now for a good movie. If you want to go into the theater right now, your best bet is Top Gun. And I'm not going to say that it's not a good movie. It's a really good movie. For a second, it was so fucking good, I thought about calling my dad. Like, yo, Dad. Hey, Dad, I haven't talked to you in like 12 years. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, fuck. Hey, dog, you watching Top Gun, my nigga? Like, yo, did you see this shit? Like, dude, they brought the fucking F-14 back out, and it felt like Afterburner, the video game. Like, dude, did you see this shit? I feel like this movie is going to continue to do well based on the fact that it hits three things. One, they have enough young people that young people will recognize that it becomes a youth movement type movie. Two, it has fucking Tom Gunn in it, making these kids go through G-force speeds and they're all making fuck faces. It is literally the greatest thing in the world because they don't know how to cope with G-force. They're like, eh. And the third thing is, it came out, like you said, around Memorial Day. Old people will keep this movie afloat because it's the closest thing they're going to get to a good war movie all the way through. For a second, I thought that they might have been in the Middle East, but no, with snow all over the ground when they went to actually do their run, you could be absolutely right. This could have been Ukraine, and they were like, you know what, we're not going to do that.
we're just not going to cross that line. We're just not.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to call it Urain. That's what we're going to do. We learned from Downton Abbey. We're going to call it Urain.
Take out a letter.
No, that would have been the ultimate like troll if they actually just made a new country up, just straight up like they did in True Detective. They just made a new city in Los Angeles. They were just like Shake City. It's like okay. But back to your point, Derek, about the youth movement. For the past week since I've seen it, TikTok's been blowing up with daughters filming their dads who have been in Top Gun, who were actually fighter pilots. So I'm seeing all of these things like, oh yeah, you guys think Top Gun's cool? It's like, well, my dad was actually like a motherfucking Top Gun, like Navy fighter pilot, got all these patches and shit. It is actually so damn cool. And I wouldn't be surprised if like the Navy in 2 years like did like a recruitment thing and they got an uptick in the 2022 2023 like no doubt. Like to think also like Miles Teller, like he was flying that plane. He was hitting those G's. Like they were all flying those planes. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? 3 months, I'm flying a fucking F-18 with a fucking phenomenal mustache, directing myself. Are you serious? I don't know how it's unbelievable. So, the youth movement is definitely on Top Gun 2 because of all of the TikToks and shit. But I just got to give credit to those actors, man. Like, that's fucking super impressive.
You know, in the midst of that entire movie, and I did enjoy it. I asked my wife as we were leaving the theater, so are you going to cup, and is that still on the table?
Is that still on the table?
But then the second thing I asked her was, do you think that this is going to stand the test of time? Like, usually when I see a great movie, I'll go home and immediately pre-order it on Vudu. And I left that movie, and at first I was tearful, and I was literally like, I was almost at tears at some of the points of the movie, especially the Val Kilmer scene. I'll go into too much detail. That did me in because that was my guy. It's still my guy. But as far as the test of time goes, I don't know. I'm like, if one good movie comes out in the next 3 months, Top Gun's gone for like 95% of the public. And I think that it's one of those movies where if there was nothing else going on, it could last, it could stand it. But right now, I'm thinking this movie has like maybe 2 more good weeks in it where it's in the top 3. And then after that, you're just going to see it on Paramount Plus.
And to your point too, it's like Tom Cruise will never let it, like he doesn't want it to go on streaming at all. Like, so it's gonna be really hard to get. And then it's on Paramount Plus, so it's not even like, you know, Netflix or something. So Paramount Plus might get a little jump, but like, yeah, it's but like to your point, like it's definitely a movie that like if I like long ago like had someone over, it's like I'm gonna flip on that movie because it's entertaining, fun, and then like you don't really have to really pay attention to the plot.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, but why the fuck would the nigga call himself Hangman when your whole thing is literally you leave your teammates hanging? Like, dude, change your call signal. Get that off your helmet. That is not a good thing, homie. And he, you know what? I
shout
love
out
the movie.
Bob. Just shout out Bob though.
Bob's the man.
Bob, shout out Bob.
Yeah, he makes burgers.
Yeah, no. What would you rank the call signs of all the newbies?
You know what?
Let me see if I can pull them up real quick.
I was about to say, because it wasn't one like Fanboy or
Fanboy.
Yeah, one was Fanboy. Yeah, one was like Fanboy. One was
Phoenix.
Yeah, they were really good.
Fanboy, Phoenix, Rooster.
Rooster.
Here we go. Yeah.
Oh God.
All right, here we go. Rooster, obviously, awesome. Hangman, geesh. Phoenix, Payback. Payback was Phoenix was the chick. Payback was the
that was Lawrence from
Ruben Fitch, played by Jay Ellis. Fanboy, Bob, shout out Bob. That's it.
Okay.
Fanboy, I don't like Fanboy. Fanboy stunk. That was not good.
And no, there was also Yale. Like, that was his whole call sign. And I was like, he's not doing shit. He's probably going to be on a die because he went to Yale, so his name was Yale. I was like, that's the laziest shit I've ever heard in my life. And they had like 12 more people show up. And then all of a sudden it was like, yeah, Yale, Harvard. I was like, yeah, they're not going to be in this. Y'all didn't put much thought in their names at all. And then did y'all notice in the bonus scenes that fucking Tintin and Fun Boy and
tricking people to like there's a Marvel end credit scene at the end of the top.
Meteor Man
with like extra characters in it. To answer your question about if it's going to stand the test of time, a lot of people have it on their list already of movies that they like where the sequels are better than the original. They've kind of put it in there with like Terminator 2 and Aliens and stuff like that. So I think for a lot of people, I mean, there's a lot of like nostalgia and stuff attached to Top Gun, but I think this is a much better movie than the original Top Gun.
And I really do want to go out there, and I'm going to get my basketball teams together, and I'm going to pull out 2 footballs, and they're going to play whatever the fuck that football game was, where they're playing offense and defense at the same time, because that was chaotic as fuck.
That was a fantastic scene, because John Hamm in that movie is just a dick.
The whole time.
He's like, what are you doing? It's like, well, you wanted a team, and all of a sudden they're basically just like carrying each other on their shoulders. It's like, shut the fuck up.
He's
Let
still
Tom Cruise, Maverick do his thing.
Yep.
As soon as he said, "I learned from Iceman," I was like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be great."
And this is which is I'm kind of surprised. I guess not really. It is now officially Tom Cruise's highest grossing movie domestically. Before that, it was War of the Worlds, 234.2 million, and 603 million worldwide. Top Gun is very close to even topping that worldwide. I think it's at like 557 now, and 295.6 million domestic.
Damn.
So it's
Cocktail above it.
Cocktail was his highest grossing movie.
Wait, Gase. Gase, you're telling me that previous to this movie coming out, Tom Cruise's highest domestic America
War of the Worlds
film was War of the Worlds, and you're trying to tell me that he's the last movie star in the game?
I'm just saying that no one can do what he's doing right now. Maybe Dwayne Johnson. We've had this argument so many times.
We've argued this argument once, but I'm just saying the last movie star and his highest gross domestic U.S. was War of the Worlds.
Nothing wrong if they're a consistent $200 million grossing films, and he has a few of them.
I'm just saying, like, just saying.
All right,
his IPs are fantastic. That's why he makes so much money.
Yeah, because he pees freely.
And and no one is really out there doing it the way he's doing it either. He's like one-man promotional machine. Like
he's a movie studio in himself.
Yeah, I mean, like, and I don't know what else to say. I mean, like, it makes me excited. I mean, it makes me wonder what Mission Impossible is going to do next year, as far as like, will everyone still be on this like Tom Cruise like high because like of all this stuff? But
I mean, do great internationally.
Yeah, sky's the limit. I mean, I'm surprised. Yeah. I feel bad for underestimating it, like at 60 million this weekend. Because when I saw the numbers, I was like, "Fuck, I should stop doing this." Or maybe they're gonna take me off of doing. They're gonna take me off of box office predictions on their website. Like, motherfucker, this is the second week in a row you fucked up the numbers. Not even close,
dude. You gotta stop saying that these boys ain't shit. Like, cut that shit out. Honestly, though, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, it's Top Gun, fam. Let's be honest. Like, let's step outside of the sheen of what it is right now, and think about what we thought when we first heard Top Gun Maverick was coming out. Literally 30 years after the first one came out.
36.
I wasn't going to see it. I was not. I was like, okay. I was like, okay, the first one didn't, like you said, the first one didn't move me as much as it moved my dad. If you ask me, Top Gun was a better amusement park ride, shout out to Great America, than it was a movie. So for me to actually come back and enjoy this new one was a fucking miracle. So I'm standing with you. Like, I can understand why you would have bet low on this one initially. It's not Morbius level, but it's like, you know what? It's the same way that if there weren't a whole bunch of stupid ass, snotty nosed, stank ass little kids out there in the world, I would say the Minions was gonna flop. It's the same way I feel. I just feel like it's not the right time. I feel like it wasn't the right movie, and I feel like I wasn't gonna fuck with it. And if I'm not gonna fuck with it, I just feel like nobody else should either. It's the only way it should work.
Last thing I'll say about Top Gun is that if I was a fighter pilot, my call sign would be Joker, and it's pretty badass.
If I was a fighter pilot, my call sign will be Stroke Man, and
just a long, hard stroke, baby.
It will be Stroke Man because not only like the full name will be Rod Stroke Man, and the thing is, it will be because I would always have a way with talking to the superiors and to the ladies. Plus, I could put it down in the bedroom with lotion in my hand when I'm by myself.
Jesus. Oh man, I'm glad you brought up that Morbius thing because I was just wondering, like, if people at Sony were they just like, hey, they're making so many memes about it on Twitter, like it must mean that people are into it, and they re-released
the fact that they
re-released
love the fact that they fucking trusted little kids. I love that. They literally trusted their time and their money with a bunch of fucking 18-year-old kids on TikTok and Twitter. And so what it only got, listen to me, people, they put it on 1,000 screens, people. Look, so I know some of y'all are white out there in the world. Some of you are Samoan. Some of you are Asian. Some are Eritrean. Look, niggas, they put it on 1,000 goddamn screens, and it only grossed $85. Do you understand how fucking great that is? That is literally $8.50.
One ticket.
Per screen.
I feel like they had nothing to lose, though, at that point, There was nothing else coming out this weekend. They just threw it in as a shot in the dark. It was weird as shit when I saw it online that it was coming back out. But there was no promotion for it or anything. It was just like, yeah, take it, see what happens.
Put Spider-Man back out. Like, fuck it. If you want to do something, put out, you know what, in a dead area of time, Sony, because you still own Spider-Man, Sony, put out the entire run of Spider-Man movies over the course of 1 week.
That'd be dope.
That'd be cool.
I'd watch.
Be a
I'd watch. Every single night. Yeah. Start off with the original Spider-Man, the one with the fucking dude from fucking
Toby,
and just go through every single day and have a different Spider-Man, and you'd sell bonker numbers. But no, you want to fucking do one about the paralytic fucking vampire guy who calls his best friend. The first time he meets the kid, he calls him out his fucking name, and the kid's doctor's like, you know what? That's your fucking name now. I'm not calling you nothing else but the nickname the kid who just met you called you. That's what the fuck we're doing right here. What was your name before? I already forgot it. Your name is fucking whatever he just called you. Shut the fuck up, little kid. You're injured.
So when I saw Morbius again this weekend, I was thinking, I'm kidding.
I was like, how the hell did we just get back on Morbius? We just pause and break a little bit.
It's like, you know what? The problem is, if we keep talking about Morbius, they will literally put it on 100 more screens.
They probably will.
That's Jared Leto. That's Jared Leto.
They probably will. Well, let's segue. In other Paramount Pictures news, because they released Top Gun Maverick, horror movie fans were a little disappointed this morning to find out that Neve Campbell would not be coming back for Scream 6. It was kind of rumored over the whole weekend at Monsterpalooza that she told fans that she wasn't going to be returning. But then she released a statement to Variety. At first I was willing to accept that she wasn't going to be in it, but then I found out the reason why, and it sounds like they're just not treating her right. So she just said, "Sadly, I won't be making the next Scream film. As a woman, I have had to work extremely hard in my career to establish my value, especially when it comes to Scream. I felt the offer that was presented to me did not equate to the value I had brought to the franchise. It's been a very difficult decision to move on. To all my Scream fans, I love you. You've always been so incredibly supportive to me. I'm forever grateful to you and to what this franchise has given to me over the past 25 years. So if the reason is that they lowballed her on an offer, then I kind of think that is a shitty reason not to have her back, because we can say a lot about like why the Scream films are successful, and there are so many different components, but she is a big reason as to why those films have been successful. And I just point to the fact that like this last Scream film, where she's not really in it much, she's in like the climax mostly. That's where the bulk of her scenes are at. But Paramount had no problem plastering her all over the marketing material, trailers, posters, because they know that she sells Scream. And to like not kind of give her what she kind of feels she deserves seems like a real slap in the face to her and to fans. A lot of people were upset on Twitter today. They were kind of going hard on it. And then they kind of quietly announced, because they were supposed to start filming today. They're not going to film until June 9th now. So I don't know if that is because they're like maybe renegotiating with her, or like what they're trying to do. I'm assuming that the script was written with her, and now they have to kind of figure out what to do without having her in it. So I just want to hear what you guys think. Like, do you think that they should have offered her what she was wanting to do, another film? And yeah, kind of like how you guys feel about all of that. And I'll go with Joe first, actually.
I was just watching Jack freak out on the camera and wanted to know what he was thinking there.
Oh, sorry. The fucking Edmonton just tied up the game in the third period against the Avalanche. I literally just turned. I clicked the wrong tab, and I see him like, oh, I should maybe just check in on it, and they just fucking scored. And I was like, oh my god! So
the reason I keep turning over here is because I have it on my computer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was like, I need to watch this game. Like, what the fuck? I just realized I can put it on mute. Yeah, fantastic goal. A little sports in here, people. We do sports sometimes.
Here's my thing with the whole Neve Campbell thing. I don't know that I totally buy it. I mean, should they have paid her, or should they pay her? Yes, they definitely should pay her. I can't imagine they offered her less than they offered her last movie, unless her role is drastically diminished. But even then, it just seems like it's not the right thing to do to the cornerstone of your franchise, who literally started it. That doesn't make any sense to me. But I just also don't buy it because of what you were just saying, Gaius, with the script. Like, clearly they wrote the script with her in it, and this is a fast-tracked movie. We're getting it next year. So unless they went in and they completely rewrote the script in a month or whenever the negotiations broke down, a 3-day delay doesn't mean shit when it comes to rebuilding a story and all this. I don't know. There's something that just doesn't make sense to me with it. I mean, I had said online jokingly before, like when it was all rumored earlier, before she came out with the statement, I was like, I could see them like playing a game where she's going to sit this one out and she's referenced, and then it makes you like long for her and she comes back in the next one. Totally could get that if they went that route with it, because they were saying she's not going to appear. Now that we know the reason, if that's really the reason, that sucks, but I just still don't buy it. I feel like that doesn't make sense in terms of making a tentpole movie like Scream 6 will be next year, because it does have a following. People will want to see it. It's, it's, and the other thing, Courtney Cox, when she first read the script, said it was brilliant. So unless everything broke down after that, and unless she's like, on board with all these changes, she's probably locked into our contract already. Yeah. But like, I just don't get it. There's something missing here that doesn't make sense to me in terms of how Paramount works. But then again, Paramount did greenlight Sonic with Ugly Sonic back in the day. So
that is true.
I don't know.
Things can be changed. And like, I kept thinking, because Paramount has had like an incredible year at the box office. I mean, like The Lost City, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Jackass Forever, Top Gun now, and Scream earlier in the year. I was just like, there's so much money they're playing with. Like, they really couldn't like offer her a bit more to get her to stay. It's like, I kept like, she did an interview one time, not really an interview, it was like a Zoom chat with her and Jamie Lee Curtis, and it was right when she was about to go film this last one, and Jamie Lee Curtis made a point to say that she didn't really make any money off of Halloween until these newer ones, because they gave her a producing credit, so she gets like more money at the more successful the movies are. I feel like Neve Campbell should have a similar kind of deal with these Scream movies. Like, she is the face of the franchise. Like, it really just seemed like, she carried the movies on her back 5 movies in a row. And I'm not saying that she's the only one there that is responsible for that success, but like, for a lot of people, she is the horror genre's like favorite final girl. Like, she is the face of that franchise. And like, Neve Campbell doesn't strike me as someone that is like really greedy. She just wants like what she feels like she deserves for putting in as much work as she has into the franchise. I mean, she came back for the last one because she loved the script, and like, and from people that were at Monsterpalooza, they keep saying that she said the script for this one is good. It's just the offer was too low, and she knows her worth and didn't want to take the part if they weren't going to offer what she desired, I guess.
So I'll just come from like the more neutral standpoint, because I'm not like the biggest Scream guy. But if it's a cornerstone person, like the lead actress, like unfortunately, I feel like her business team should have done something earlier. Like now it's too late for like. It's not like Disney where like with Wanda, Elizabeth Olsen, like they'll always like, let her back for because they're giving her millions of dollars, but she's never going to say no to like one-off contracts. But I think it's kind of unfortunate that Neve didn't get like a 3-year deal, a 3-movie deal with this much money plus like a point or something. I feel like that's kind of like on her team, and maybe also at the same time, maybe she's feeling that maybe it's time to move on from doing Scream too.
Well, I mean,
and just like a good excuse to say so. But that's just my opinion. I have nothing other to add.
I got the impression, like, because you were saying why didn't she sign up for multiple movies? I think for her, she like it took her a while to sign on for the last one because she wants to make sure that the script was good and it did Wes Craven justice because it would be the first one they did without Wes Craven, and I think she was kind of deciding it on a movie to movie basis. She's having a bit of a career resurgence right now. It's not like she's not working. She's working quite a bit, and it also makes me wonder what they offer Courtney Cox, because Courtney Cox hasn't officially been announced, but she keeps implying that she's in it. So it makes me wonder what they offered her, and she was like, "Cool, I'll do it." I mean, I guess she has all that Friends money, so she doesn't give a fuck about how much they give her. But yeah, I'm really surprised about like how it's all been handled, and it seems like maybe Paramount saw like the outcry today and was like, "All right, is there a way to get around it? Can we go back to the table with her?" I'm kind of hoping that's what they do. And I know I've gotten a few people saying like, hey, she's been in so many of these movies. It becomes a little bit unrealistic for her to keep surviving over and over again. But I don't know. Scream fans were stubborn, and it doesn't feel like it would be Scream without her in it.
It's also a horror franchise, so like that this shit happens all the time. But right. You said the thing about Wes Craven, and with Wes Craven gone, Neve Campbell is sort of the one that holds the cards of Scream, and not having her there it's gonna really hurt this movie. I think
so too. I mean, they're putting all their eggs in the new cast basket and Courtney Cox, and they're bringing back Hayden Panettiere, which is like she's a fan favorite from the fourth one. But even if all those like, I feel bad diminishing Courtney Cox because Courtney Cox is important to that franchise too. That character is considered iconic for fans of those movies, but Neve Campbell was a star, and she's like the heart and soul of the franchise. Derik, what do you kind of think? Like, do you think they should have offered her more, or do you think it's everything that it appears to be as far as how these things all broke down?
Courtney Cox, I love you. I love you, Courtney Cox. So look, me and the Scream franchise, when I think about Scream, I think about Neve Campbell. Like, I literally was just sitting back while y'all were talking, trying to think of another movie that I've seen Neve Campbell in that wasn't the Scream franchise and Wild Things. Like, literally, I tried my fucking hardest. I can't do it. I can't do it. And I'm not even joking. I'm being completely serious. Like, everything that Neve Campbell has done in my mind wraps back to Scream. So, even if you're going to have her in the movie for 3 seconds, pay her. It's the same way Jerry Reinsdorf said he was going to pay Michael Jordan $30 million for that one season, not because he was worth $30 million. He definitely is, but because of all the shit he did for the Bulls before that season got there. Pay her. Like, it's not that difficult. And you know what? Courtney Cox, if she wants to be in the movie, that's wonderful. Pay Neve Campbell. If Courtney Cox is in the movie, pay Neve. You know what? If Neve isn't in the movie, pay Neve. Neve, you know what? At the end of the movie, just fucking put your Venmo and your Cash App like these motherfuckers do on Twitter when it's their birthday. Just hold up a sign and say Cash App / Courtney Cox doesn't fuck with this movie and get paid. Pay her just out of the fact that I don't know anybody else in the Scream franchise other than fucking Sydney. Like, when it's all said and done, the thing I know about Scream is that The black folks died at the beginning of the movie in part 2. On purpose, I laughed. They died. One of them died with their ear up against the bathroom door, like trying to be nosy. That's what I remember. And Neve Campbell. Those are the two things. Maybe the rules of how to survive a horror movie, but I have to look those up again. Pay this woman. And if you don't pay her what she's worth, all it's going to turn into is, why do you choose to not pay a woman what she's worth after she's given so much to this franchise? There's literally no way you can look good in this situation when you just paid Tom Cruise like millions.
The same studio.
Paid Tom Cruise all the millions to really be a teacher role in Top Gun. So pay her. That's it. Yep. And Nev, when they pay you, patreon.com/single simulcast. You can go ahead. I'll let your boy. Just send me real quick. Just cash me out. Cash App /Rashani. Just hit your boy up real quick. All I need is $25,000. You know what I realized a couple days ago? Not a couple days ago. I think about this shit all the fucking time, and it's depressing as fuck. But here we go. For the majority of us, when we talk about being in debt, if you gave us $250,000 each, we could get out of debt completely. For the majority of Americans, you could get out of debt and live comfortably if you were given $250,000. Do you know how heartbreaking that is? Do you know how many 250,000 are in a billion? If they just gave us that little drop, I could get out of debt. Pay off my house. Move. Put my kid through college. And still have some left over. That's some bullshit.
So the important thing here is if they pay Neve Campbell, she can pay all of us and get us out of debt.
Essentially, yeah.
The true victims here are us. You do bring up a good point about what this is turning into, because I think it's already turning into that. The conversation is about her not really getting her worth because she is a woman. Then they think that she and people are making the Tom Cruise comparisons, and I know it's completely different, but it does seem asinine when you're a studio making that much money and you can't even give her, like, I'm sure she's not asking for a fuck ton of money. Like, I'm sure she's not. I think she knows her lane, but she also knows how important the franchise she is to the franchise. And I'm sure she's gotten advice from people, like on how to move forward with negotiations like that. So it does kind of look bad.
I saw Jackass Forever. Dude, pay her. Like, seriously, you are giving 60-year-old men money to get tased and get mousetraps on their hands. Pay this woman something. That's all. Just a little bit. Just a pittance. But then again, I'm all about, pay them so they can pay me, because that's how Stroke Man gets down.
Well, I mean, we'll have to wait and see if these 3 days they delayed filming will change anything. I mean, we might get a story tomorrow that they'll be like, oops, I lied, I'm in it. They came back with a better offer. I feel like, I mean, if everyone was saying they think that she really did do this publicly like this, so she can push them into a corner to be like, okay, renegotiate with me, which would be smart on her end, because she's definitely getting the reaction from the fans that she probably hoped to get. So hopefully that does turn into them coming back to the table and giving her the money she deserves.
I love that she just dropped that during a fan meet. Monster Palooza. She's like, I'm not in it. See it.
she's like taking pictures with fans, like, hey, I'm not in the next one. Bye.
Yeah. She walked behind her. All of her people were like, yes.
Do you guys want to know a secret about Scream? Yeah. Do you guys want to know a secret about Scream? Yeah. I'm not fucking in it. Good night.
Yeah, that's true. Because someone was like, they were like, it's crazy that she would talk about that at a convention. I was like, she's smart though. She knew that word would get out, and then it would get out enough where she would have to make a statement publicly the next day, and that's what she did. She let all the horror fan nerds do it online for her, and then let them fester on it, and saw how mad they got.
Did you hear? She was like, did you hear? I'm not in Scream. Yes, Nev, but this is the Black Panther 2 panel.
I wonder what they paid Hayden Panettiere to get her back. Like, I feel like that's got to be a wrench in this too.
Maybe, but I'm wondering what they can offer her, because I don't know if you guys follow her that much, but here in LA, she's a bit of a hot mess at the moment. So I don't like she's always getting into fights with her like boyfriend, fiance. I don't know what he is. Like, she had a restraining order against him at one point for like allegedly hitting her, and then like I think it was a month ago they were on TMZ getting into a fight at some club with a bunch of people. So I'm just wondering how much they were willing to give her and how much she'll be in it.
So all I'm hearing is that she's had some publicity recently that's going to work towards the
I guess negative publicity is good publicity as well. So, but yeah, I'm kind of curious. I mean, she can't affect the payout that much, right? Like, what is she even? I don't even know. Like, what's the last thing that Hayden Panettiere has done? I think
Heroes.
Or
but I imagine.
Right?
But I imagine Neve Campbell is probably like looking, like knowing what she got paid and been like, "That's what you offered me when you're paying that bitch." Like,
XYZ. Nev, for the last time this is Arby's, Nev, I'm gonna need you to place your order and just go. Okay, like, I'm behind you, Nev. I would pay you what you're worth if you just pay me the $5.25 for this fucking barbecue sandwich.
Some 15-year-old from Arby's is gonna be on TikTok later, like, "Yo, guess what I just heard."
Oh Jesus! All right, well, let's get to what the heart of this episode is about. We have Jurassic World. I had
one more thing, but
yeah. Well, what was it? Go ahead.
I read reports. Early screenings of The Flash are absolutely fantastic. That's good to hear. Because Ezra Miller is not going to any more karaoke bars or staying in Hawaii. Thank God. And then the second one I read, I don't really know how much I read into this because it was the Wrap that reported it officially, but according to the Wrap, David Zaslav's team, he's the new CEO of Warner Media, his team told him that he should cancel all Superman projects and start from scratch with Henry Cavill. And if you don't know, then in works right now apparently is a Henry, a black superhero that could be either Superman that could either be a different version of Kal-El, or it could be Val-Zod with Michael B. Jordan. So there's a J.J. Abrams one as well. So they might be canceling all projects. Fingers crossed that Henry Cavill gets to do some cool shit again, because he got the real raw end of that stick, in my opinion.
I've always said about him is that he never got a fair. He's good in that role, and he never got a fair shot with like a good movie.
Dude, Man of Steel is one of my favorite movies. Like, I just don't understand the hate behind it.
I feel bad saying Man of Steel. Man of Steel is fine, but like the rest of them, like he just never really got his shot to like really be in an excellent one. I'll say that.
I really like Batman versus Superman too, but I'm not going to get into
that.
I love that movie.
I'm just sitting here thinking about the last Superman movie I saw, and I think it was the one where for some reason they decided the best way to portray Superman's son was to give him fucking asthma. I think that was the one
Superman Returns
that I saw. I think that was the last one I saw.
Superman Returns.
And we walked out. We walked out to the car after the movie. I remember vividly. My wife was like, "Do you want me to cup him?" And I was like, "No, not right now." And we got in the car, and I listened to Life Jennings sing to me about how Christopher Reeves is still Superman to him, and that was the last Superman movie I watched. The end.
Well, I would implore you to watch Man of Steel. I feel it's a very fresh take on like why he is Superman, like how like the origin of like.
It's on HBO Max, right?
Yeah.
It should be.
I got you.
Yeah, and I think it's in Dolby. It's got the whole nine. Everyone's just like, it's literally too dark. Like, and like it needs a little bit of brightness, like just brighten the screen. But other than that, I think it's a fantastic way to interpret. Yeah, I think it's a fantastic way to interpret like Superman and why he has his powers and how he did the whole entire nine. But yeah, I think it's fantastic. But yeah, hopefully he gets his good share. But that's all I had for DC. And actually, last thing, Black Adam trailer coming out tomorrow. Gaius, I know you're under NDA, so shut up.
I am pretty sure that I will enjoy Man of Steel because I personally loved Brightburn and was hoping that there would be a sequel at some point.
I hated that movie.
I thought that Brightburn was one of the most inventive superhero movies out there. Like, I thought that was fantastic. I laughed all the way through it. See, a horror movie to me, if it makes me laugh, it means it's a good movie. because that means the deaths are fantastic enough to really draw my interest.
Jack, didn't Zaslav say with Superman, like his first press release or whatever it was, or first interview, he made a comment saying like, we have Superman in DC and we're not doing anything with him.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
why the hell are we not doing anything with one of the most
With
well-known
biggest character,
superhero IPs?
other than Batman, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's the original comic book.
Yep.
Like it's ridiculous. Yeah, no, it really just stems from the whole Toby Emmerich crew who were running it,
Yep.
and I really just I hate to be a dead horse on this podcast, but like Zack Snyder had a plan. If you just let him do his plan without like any like interference, it would have been better. It would have been fun.
Absolutely.
It would have been cool. You would have like just not to go on a deep rant because we're going to talk about Jurassic, but like all of the actors that like Zack chose to be his like superheroes, all fantastic choices. Like you tell me his casting is off. Besides like Ben Affleck, maybe, but like I love him as Batman. But like Zack Snyder had a plan. He gave actors choices, gave actors chances, let them do their thing, put their spin on characters, and that old DC regime, Warner Bros. Regime, didn't like it. And now, hopefully, with Discovery being like saying, he's like, we have like the most well-known IPs in the world. What the hell? Why are we not focusing on this?
And all the actors were bought into that vision too. And like whether you like it or not, I feel like you bring someone on, they tell you their vision, and you let them do it. Like you don't react to not great box office returns when even though you hit like what 850
900 million. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Which it should have crossed $1 billion. I get that argument, but like you're DC, you're building up, you're establishing. I mean, again, that's a whole nother podcast. But
yeah,
God,
a whole other podcast. We're not going a rabbit hole for these people. But yeah, hopefully it all works out.
Yeah, I will say this about Man of Steel because you brought up the whole point about people saying it's too dark and blah blah blah. I always felt that like that movie got unfairly lumped in with the whole like Batman Begins movement. Like they kind of like wanted it to kind of be like that a little bit, and it really and it got compared to that a lot. And I don't really think that is entirely fair either. Like I have issues with Man of Steel, but I thought it was like a pretty good start for what they were trying to do with him, and I would have preferred just a straight sequel to that rather than what they did with going into like Batman versus Superman. And
100%.
Yeah,
I think Henry Cavill deserved another shot with another solo movie, and then you can go into like trying to do what they did. I
still fight like Brainiac or something, like expand the fucking universe a little bit. That'd been so dope. Then you do Brainiac, Green Lantern Corps comes next, so you're in space already. Green Lantern comes, then you can go just Shazam, which we did. So not getting into this, but now, but yeah, it's dope. So Henry Cavill, we are pro Henry Cavill on this podcast.
Exactly. Your main actor still wants to do it. Like a lot of times, like they kind of lose interest, and he's still like, "I'm here. I want to do it." So like,
his dog is named Kal-El.
Let him do it. Let him have his flowers, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're gonna get into a little bit of discussion about the Jurassic Park franchise because Jurassic World Dominion is out on Friday. So this all started in 1993 with Jurassic Park, and it was followed by The Lost World Jurassic Park, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World, and then Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I think Jack, you're the youngest, I assume. Everyone's kind of discovered Jurassic Park at a different time, I think. And I wanted to ask, like, you guys, because I know I saw it in theaters when it came out when I was a kid. When you guys kind of first discovered the original film and, like, what you thought about it the first time you saw it. And
when did the first one come out?
1993.
93, so it's as old as the first one is as old as I am. So
so that's
I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go out on the limb and say I probably saw the first one on like TNT or USA when I was like 10 or 12. I think actually the third one with like the one that wasn't that good with the Raptors, like where they stole the eggs. That one was the first one I actually think I saw in theaters. But I've always not say I love the Jurassic franchise. I don't think I saw those first two because I literally was like 8 when the second one came out.
That's true. Jesus, I forget how young you are sometimes. The rest of us have probably seen them in theaters. And you're like, I saw it on TNT when I was 10.
Hey man, it's definitely a Shawshankable movie. We can put it in the list for Shawshankable movies.
That's very
I
true.
did see it in theaters. I remember the first one there. And I'm trying to remember, like, my dad was really big into it because, like Derik mentioned, like he read the books and was, really interested to see what they did with them. So I know that we were there like opening weekend.
Wait, hold on. Are you guys trying to tell me that Jurassic Park, the IP, was a book?
Yeah.
Yes.
Derek's about to jump up your ass, man.
Stand the fuck back! Stand back, people! I'm a fucking professional. No, man, you can't walk away when I'm about to talk Jurassic Park, man. So, look. Not John Grisham. I got what the first words. What the first fucking words? Michael Crichton. Crichton.
Different Arthur song. That was hilarious.
The science fiction god of writing for the late 80s, early 90s. Made books like Congo, Timeline, Jurassic Park, The New World.
Prey.
Huh?
Prey, wasn't that one of them?
Yep. So he made Jurassic Park, and the motherfucker made it a horror movie. He made a book that should have been a horror movie, like straight up. Like the Lost World, yeah, that was more of a horror movie when it came out, part 2. But part 1, the book, yeah, everybody fucking died in that motherfucker. Like, they got in trucks and turned around, and there were compies biting noses off and just all kind of excellent shit. And so
fucking compies.
Oh my god,
fucking compies.
So when I went to see it in the movie theater, I might have been one of the only people who walked away awestruck, and yet at the same time, like, what the fuck? Like, it was a balance, because you never read the book and then expect the movie to live up to it. And Jurassic Park was one of those movies that was such a spectacle, like such a futuristic ideal of what could be, that it was just like, this is everything. Like, there's a YouTube video that I still laugh at, like 5-6 years later, of the first time that Sam O'Neill sees the brontosauruses, and he pulls Ellie's head up. The first time Alan sees, and he pulls Ellie's head up to see what he's looking at. And there's somebody on this video who's playing a melodeon, like what's it called? The thing when you blow into the keyboard. And it's horrible. Like, they're playing the music awful. It's so bad, and I die laughing every time that I see it. But at the same time, I remember my heart swelling the first time that I saw that scene in the movie theater, and we were all like, it was stunned silence that they could pull this off, because you're young, so you may not have forced yourself to go back and see what the fuck dinosaurs looked like in the 80s and in the 70s and in the 60s, but they were awful looking. So to see a dinosaur that actually looked like the pictures and the dreams and everything, that movie was transcendent. But the books were so much fucking better. And I had to get that out there as a book guy, that Lost World and Jurassic Park are by far two of the best books that I've ever read in my entire life. And I would read them for my shows, but there's so much scientific jargon that's in the books that I think I might lose half my audience.
I'm a big book guy myself, just more detective fiction, but I feel you on the books. It's real nice when a show or a movie like lives up to the books that you've read, like all these bad boys back here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were all good shows now.
So are you saying that, like, Steven Spielberg, like, because I haven't read the book either, so did he basically Spielberg the book? Like, he kind of like took the core idea and kind of like turned it into like what he's known for, basically?
So I would say Nedry, a lot of the deaths that happened made it into the movie, but there are other deaths that didn't happen. Like David Attenborough, he dies
Oh shit!
in the book, and he dies horribly in the book. Like the only two who make it out are like the fucking kids and Ellie and Alan. Like that's it. Oh, and Jeff Goldblum's character, who literally is going through the entire book like y'all shouldn't fucking do this.
He's
Y'all
the voice
really
of
should
reason.
not do this. He's the voice of reason, and that's why I love Jeff Goldblum so much in the movies, because I feel like he read the book, because he was like, y'all should not be fucking doing this. Y'all should not be. Y'all are doing this just because you want to say that you did it, and that is not a good reason to do anything. And I felt that to its core. But if you ever get a chance to read those books, you're gonna be like, damn, really? Okay. Okay. Now I want to go back and watch the movie again, because this hits completely differently now that I've seen this. So, yeah.
That makes me definitely want to read them, because I don't know why I never did, but now I want to. It's interesting too, because I saw the movie when it came out in theaters as a kid, and what amazed me then, even amazes me now after watching it again last week, is like, for something that came out in 1993, it really doesn't look like it as far as like the technical aspects are concerned. Like, it really, like you said earlier, it really is. It was transcended then, and it still is now. And it's no easy feat for something that was made that was released in 1993. I from like John Williams' score to like just the way that, Spielberg has a way of bringing that out of people when they're watching his movies. There's this sense of awe with like most of his really good ones, and you really get that with Jurassic Park. I do kind of funny though. When I was reading up on like the production, and they were talking about the scene where the T-Rex like crashes through the top of the car on the kids.
His internet's great.
Wasn't supposed to go that way.
Cutting it out.
Like, it was kind of like an accident, and then they were like, their screamings and stuff were like supposed to be real. And then he just kind of just keep it rolling, which I thought was kind of interesting that Spielberg would do something like that.
Gaze, do you not realize you cut out for like good 30 seconds? You had no idea what you just said.
You were dead, man.
Yeah, we had no idea. I had no idea what you just said. Oh, he's texting me right now.
He said, and I quote,
yeah.
And I disagree with it all.
Me too. I feel very strongly that ip and dip should have been mixed up.
Yeah. But I mean, I completely just zoned out for that for a second. Oh, I apologize. I was focusing on the game because my one of our friends dates one of the Colorado Avalanche. So
dope.
That's fucking sweet.
Dope.
Yeah.
They're having a good night, so.
One of my friends dates. The best part about this movie to me, like, honestly, Jurassic Park 1, the best part about this movie is that niggas in Toronto watched Jurassic Park and were so transfixed by it that 2 years later, when the NBA is like, yo, we're going to give y'all a basketball team, what do you want to call it? They were like, yo, boom, check it. Have you seen Jurassic Park, my nigga? Like, check it out. So there's these dinosaurs, right? They're like, yeah, and they're real smart and they're quick, and we don't know if they can shoot or not. We're going to put them on our jersey. We are the Raptors. The Raptors are us. There's just so many perfect parts to this movie that I think that we really have to pay homage to Steven Spielberg for how he put this movie together. And it did gangbusters, as it was expected to. But more than that, it literally, there's movies that transcend the genre that it's a part of. Like, I watch science fiction movies now because of Jurassic Park. I can watch an adventure movie, an action movie. I can watch a romance, and they're all in this movie. Like I said, Jurassic Park is just one of the greatest, like, step up to the plate, turn to the catcher, tell him you're fucking his wife, look to the first baseman and say, watch this, and knock it out the park on the first swings I've ever seen in my entire life. Period.
Yeah, no, I think dinosaurs capture the imagination of everybody. I mean, I think it's one of the first things we as kids like learn about in like grade school. It's like dinosaurs, like what a fucking brontosaurus is, what a raptor is, what a like we know about it. We know about T-Rex like at 5. Like everyone knows what a T-Rex is. So as Derik is saying, like they knocked it out of the fucking park because they really cared about it, and it just stood the test of time. Dinosaurs will never not be cool. Like there's still technically dinosaurs among us, sharks and alligators or crocodiles, stuff like that technically. But like it's dope to see like how far we've come with it, and I just don't. It's just one of those things where you're just like dinosaurs, raptors. Yeah, I'm seeing it, but to make it an actually good franchise and like care about the characters in it, it just stands the test of time.
Yeah, I think that's interesting too, because like I was gonna say that about the first movie, especially because usually in movies like this, the human characters can kind of get sidelined, and you're like, I don't care about them, just show me some dinosaur action, and you actually do care about like the humans in like the at least the first one especially, which is why I think there was such a big thing to get them to come back for a Jurassic World Dominion and like more than like a cameo capacity, actually bring them back with like substantial roles. That's something you don't really see a lot. I will say, in the world of movie kids, I'm not as annoyed by these movie kids as I am usually in movies like this, even though I kind of think that they escape all kinds of danger purely by accident. It's not like skill or wit. They are just like the luckiest kids ever to be put in this kind of situation where they don't die.
So they're in the book, and that little girl is a fucking brat. She is not the older sister in the book. She's the younger
really?
sister, and she's an asshole. So yeah, when they switched that all around and made the boy the younger brother or the younger sibling, I was like, okay, this is walking away from what I know. But yeah, they got out. Okay. What we're gonna do is we're gonna sit real low in the kitchen as Velociraptor, which is established the smartest fucking thing in the world, walk all around us, and we're gonna escape on white pluckiness, and we're cute. That's really it. That's what happened in that scene.
But listen, that was a terrifying scene to watch.
That was terrifying.
That's a really good scene. The kids didn't annoy me as much either because I feel like a lot of the reactions are pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like the kid, the boy. I'm sorry for what's his name. I don't even remember.
Oh wow, I'm blanking on
Does
his
it
name.
really matter?
No, but little boy. I just thought the reactions were really freaking funny, and pretty much like, holy shit, what's going on? Please help us, old man Alan.
She does give like really good, like the scene where like she's eating the Jello, and then like her face just like freezes when she sees the raptor walking. Like that reaction shot is like so good. She has like a bunch of those in the movie that are actually pretty good. Yeah,
and if that scene was in one of the newer Jurassic Parks, she's dead in like 5 seconds, yo. Like the only reason she is alive because of that scene is because they couldn't make the prosthetic raptor move faster, believably. You know what I'm saying? Like they just like he hopped onto the stainless steel table and walked across. I'm like, bro, have you seen what Blue does? Blue runs a fucking 40 in 2 seconds, man. She's sniffing you out and you are done.
This is very true. Yeah, and the little kid, like he survived being like shocked on the electric fence. Like they are just all so lucky. Like both of those kids are lucky.
Jump, motherfucker! Just jump.
No,
just jump. Unbelievable. But like, yeah, dude, that fence was supposed to hold, like, try and like tickle a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Dude just held on with both hands. Dude just didn't explode for some reason.
Couldn't get that rating.
Do you guys think the raptor scene is better, or the initial like T-Rex scene is better?
I don't know that you can choose one because I feel like they both make the whole movie. You know, like the way.
Yeah,
but I think they're
both
great.
Yeah, if you don't have T-Rexes or raptors, it's like it's not really like they're the bad guys in it. You got to have them in there. So they're both dope as fuck.
Mhm.
Yeah, they do. They do make them the villains because like the T-Rex does come and take them both out.
Yeah.
He has like no
But al-
allegiance
but
to the humans.
Which
But always at the end, the T-Rex like comes back and saves the day.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And
It's so
Jurassic World
funny.
kind of does the opposite, which is funny.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting too. Like when talking about the second one, I remember seeing The Lost World in theaters and almost immediately feeling like it wasn't as good as Jurassic Park. I actually, for the rewatch, I actually didn't rewatch it with the group of movies I'm doing now. Like it was randomly on HBO like 2 weeks ago, and I decided to watch it. And The Lost World is way too long. It kind of feels like it's going down the same beats as like the first one, but just not as good. And I like absolutely hate the tacked on T-Rex San Diego chase climax at the
Oh
end
my
of the movie.
god, yeah.
Like I hate it. I don't even know how like Steven Spielberg was like, yeah, we'll do this. I mean, it's like it feels like the movie ends before that, and then it's like it just feels like it was like done, and like maybe they did a test screening. They were like, no, we want more T-Rex action, and they just threw in this like Godzilla-esque like scene in San Diego, and it almost makes me like hate that movie. Like I actually like Jurassic Park 3 more because at least it doesn't have that attached to it.
Yeah. It's funny because I rewatched that a couple months ago, maybe, and I was shocked that I forgot that Vince Vaughn was in it. I was like, oh, that's right. He's in this. Oh, and Julianne Moore. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, that's what we did with the sequel. I don't hate it, but I totally agree with you. I mean, that's, and fast forwarding a little bit, but that's why I didn't like Fallen Kingdom at all. Because I'm like, we're doing this shit. We're going right back to the end of Jurassic Park, Lost World. Like, that's all we're doing with this. And it annoyed the hell out of me.
Yeah, do you like how they've kind of centered everything around the raptors and like how they're the key to like everything? Like the it's not like more the amusement park when like the first one, but more talking about more the three newer ones. But like, do you like how like the raptors are now basically like the key to everything?
I kind of do, actually. I think like it made sense for them to give like Owen a reason why he's so invested in this, in like Blue, right? Because before they were just paleontologists that were out there researching, and they were brought into this weird project. But every time they were brought back, it was like, why the hell would you go back? Because you're literally putting your life at risk each damn time. Like, why are you doing this over and over again? But with this, there's a little bit more of a connection and a reason why, which I appreciate.
No, yeah, I definitely think that lends to like why these movies are doing as well as they do, minus the fact they are dinosaurs and they are dope as fuck. I can't reiterate that enough how awesome dinosaurs are. Just need to reiterate that how sick they are.
And by the way, I want to point out really quick that we talk about how big opening weekends are now. Back in 1997, when the second one came out, it opened at $72.1 million, and that was the biggest opening weekend up to that point. And before that, the biggest opening weekend was Batman Forever, which was like in the 50-something range.
Well, let's see what it would be with little inflation.
I was just gonna say, with inflation, that's $273 million
for an opening weekend.
I just want to point out that Jurassic Park: The Lost World was the one where they were like, "Hey, Jeff Goldblum, let's see what you do when you star in a dinosaur movie by yourself. Like, go Jeff all over the place. Go Jeff all over their asses real quick." And Jeff was like, "Say less, fam." And so that movie was fucking fantastic to me. I love Jeff Goldblum. Like, I thought that he literally did him all the way through that movie, while shit that literally, the only thing is, it's the good and the bad. The good was Jeff Goldblum. The bad is, okay, so they never explained the fact that there's a fucking T-Rex walking around San Diego.
I know. I hate that scene. I hate that. I was just telling them when you were gone, like, I hate that scene so much. It feels so tacked on and unnecessary. I don't even know who thought was like, yeah, we got to put this in there. It feels like an afterthought.
It's in the book. It's literally in the book, and that's the problem. Like, so this whole Jurassic Park Dominion and Jurassic Park Horror House thing that they had a few years ago, no, part 2 had the dinosaurs reach land, and we never talked about it again. Like, look, we're literally still talking about how the Warriors lost a 3-1 lead to the Cavaliers. How the fuck aren't we talking about the fact that there was a dinosaur walking the streets in like 1997? And now we're acting like it's a brand new thing in 2022. No, my peoples, I seen this. Like, that's the thing that makes me mad, is the fact that, so my homeboy Brandon and I, on Hindsight, we sat back and we watched the Terminator series. And there were things that happened in Terminator 2 that they did not carry over to any other movie, such the fact that in Terminator 2, they tried to say the 16-year-old Eddie Furlong was 10. Like, they tried to make that a thing. And then they try to act like it never happened. Once you make this decision to put it on wax, put it in a movie, somebody's going to remember it. It just happens to be me. So I remember this dinosaur. And so anything that happened past that point, I was just like, are we not going to talk about the dinosaur that walked through San Diego? Like,
I like how you called it.
It wasn't like it was a compy. It was a fucking T-Rex walking the streets of San Diego. Like, how do you not mention that ever again? You know what? Never mind.
There was a Men in Black crossover where they just like made sure everyone
Realized them.
Also, if we're talking about annoying movie kids, again, I don't think she's that annoying, the daughter. But I do hate that we have that childish scene of her doing her gymnast skills and like kicking a raptor like through that the wall in that one scene. It's just like, it just feels like something like Spielberg was like, this will be cool because like
a raptor would never let that happen. You think a raptor would let a 16-year-old girl get the jump on her? Come on, the raptor.
And I know they set it up early that she's a gymnast and she's great, but like that wouldn't happen. And I know they probably just did that for the kids because they're like, "Oh, that's so
How
cool."
do you know? Were you there?
I know, right? I know, right? Like, how do you know what she can do?
Do you know? Dinosaurs are getting kicked around everywhere.
Just back in the day.
Oh, I'm sorry. When did a 16-year-old girl's karate kick equate to a meteorite?
I know.
That's the only thing that's taking out those motherfuckers.
In the Lost World Jurassic Park, that's when it happens.
Yep.
Maybe
Spielberg at the top of his game.
Maybe it's a good thing he didn't direct any more of these after this, because like it's not like his signature is like really good on the Lost World Jurassic Park. It's not amongst his like top tier movies.
I don't necessarily like when J.J. Abrams does that stuff to movies, like, oh, he's like producing, or he's like, you know, he's got his hands on it. It's like, oh my god, like, yay! It's like, if he's not directing it, why are we getting our tizzies in a bunches? Like, I get it, like, it's cool to have him as a producer, or like Steven Spielberg executive produce, but EP is usually just a title you just tack on to get that little buzz. But
I also think it depends on the producer, because when Poltergeist was getting made, Steven Spielberg was a producer on that, and Tobe Hooper directed it. But everyone that said that worked on that movie said that Steven Spielberg was there a lot, basically as a director, because he wanted to do that movie. I think he was doing E.T. at the same, like around the time he couldn't do Poltergeist. But yeah, I mean, like sometimes being a producer, it's more than, you know.
No, yeah, but
influence is felt a bit more than, I guess, what the making of it.
JJ is just there to make sure there's at least 7 lens flares and to see if there's a Cloverfield connection he can make.
It does raise a good point, though. I would like to find a production person to be like, how often is the producer like behind the camera like telling the director what to do if it's like a newbie director with a, you know, like a seasoned producer or EP.
Yeah. And then like now you have Jurassic Park 3, which is, I guess, the first one not based on a novel by Michael Crichton.
But it had fucking pterodactyls in it.
It had a giant bird cage.
That was the whole thing. Like, that was they literally had them going down the fucking lazy river at your water park to see the pterodactyls. I feel like Jurassic Park 3 was the part where they surveyed 5-year-olds. What do we need in this movie? Chicky nuggies and pterodactyls. Okay, cool. We can do
And
the
and we
pterodactyls.
need a giant mound of shit with a cell phone in it.
Exactly. And
Just
dig through that
right in
with your
there.
phone. Get
Forgot
in there
about
with
that.
your whole hand.
That does sound like a 5-year-old. He just asked him, "What do you want in the movie?" Like shit,
Shit. Pterodactyls, chicken nuggies.
And make sure it's short because this is only a 90-minute movie, guys. It's like I think it's the shortest of all of them. And on
Yeah,
the one hand,
no, that was a
appreciate it.
that is not a
appreciate
Shawshankable movie.
It's not.
Yeah,
but
no,
appreciate it being that
Jurassic
short,
Park
though.
3 was the first one where they went off, where Jurassic Park 3 should have been the sign to everybody that this shit's about to hit the fan. Like, I love the first two Jurassic Parks because, again, to some extent, large extent, they kept true to the books. They might have went away and who died and who didn't die, things of that nature, but they were true to it. Jurassic Park 3 ain't in no goddamn book. And from that point on out, they were just like, they were like the motherfucking Snatch. Can you read the sign? All bets are off. Like, I have nothing to do with this. I'm not fucking laughing. This isn't a joke. Like, we don't know what the fuck he wants to do with this shit. He just told us to show up and run around for 90 minutes. And now there's a cell phone, a pile of shit. All bets are off. So, yeah, no.
Yeah,
I have it, but I don't talk about it.
I also hate. I mean, the Honest trailers makes fun of this scene a lot, and they actually the scene where I think Alan's like asleep or like whatever, and he sees the raptor that says Alan. It's the guy that's like I guess he's like dreaming or something. Like that was ridiculous. I think they thought it'd be cool to have the raptors like communicate and be able to open doors and shit. I guess that was kind of cool, but it all felt like it was
the only that really was like the only dope part was the 3D printing of the throat flute of the raptor. Like I really like there was nothing else to that movie. Like compies, eggs, parasailing, birdcage.
That's it. And it's funny because Sam Neill just recently said that he thinks it's a much better movie than people give it credit for. But he also said that it was very difficult. The script changed a lot while they were making it. And he said Téa Leoni and William H. Macy did not look happy to be there. Like they were not.
I believe it. Like it looked like it was cold. They were in water all the fucking time. What the fuck is this movie even about? Even I just told my kids that I was going to be in a Jurassic Park movie. Like, why are we changing the script? Wasn't this written? Isn't this a book? Like, what are we doing here? Big ass bird cage. What do you mean? I am in a big ass bird cage. What the fuck do you mean? Look up. What the fuck is this bullshit? You're gonna tell me that you can convince fucking pterodactyls to live in a goddamn bird cage? This is what we're doing right now. You're going to tell me that somehow somebody trained these dinosaurs, who are the wildest of the wild, to live in an aviary. That's what we're doing? Go fuck yourself, sir. I quit.
And it still made money, sadly, too.
Right?
It still was successful.
Because dinosaurs are dope.
Dope.
They are the reason that George R.R. Martin will never finish Game of Thrones. Literally. You can just keep making up whatever you want because Jurassic Park 3 did it. If Jurassic Park 3 did it, anything is possible. I don't have to finish shit.
Laura Dern was the smartest one. She was like, they finally called her to do those like 2 little scenes in Jurassic World or Jurassic Park 3. And she was like, all right, yeah, I'll get a paycheck for that, whatever. I'm not doing much at that time. And she did that and sat it out. And now like everyone loves Laura Dern. And here she comes back for Jurassic World 3.
Take notes, Neve Campbell.
Yeah, right. We'll see you in Scream 9, Neve Campbell.
Yeah. She had a huge career resurgence after Part 3. Because
it was a phenomenal performance in Jurassic Park.
They were like, "Where has she been?" That's what they've been like the whole time they're watching. And then you get to like these last two with Jurassic World and Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. What I will say about when Jurassic World came out, I was surprised because I didn't know that people were clamoring for another one. I was surprised by how like successful it was when it came out, though. Like, I mean, it made $1.6 billion worldwide, and it became the third highest
Easy.
grossing movie of all time. Like it's crazy. Like I knew, I mean, it could be successful, but I had no idea people were really like up for this again in like such a huge way.
When playlist listens to this, I hope they do a ding counter because I'm just gonna say it again.
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs are dope.
And now they have the technology to actually have them like move fast, have facial expressions for animals. I mean, it's just amazing. They're making up dinosaurs now, like the Indoraptor. Come on, dude, that thing was sick. Like I got no words. They're sick. Like, so you give it to me, and then like as we said before, Joe, it's like instead of making it about like research about just dinosaurs in general, they added a personal aspect and connection to it. So now I love Blue. Like I'm all about Blue, and like hope she survives and all the nonsense and go everything. So, yeah, like it's not. I'm not surprised at all that it made 1.6 billion. I mean, I didn't think it was that fantastic of a movie, but it was awesome.
It's a series that's always going to suffer from the fact that the first one was so great at the time, and like for what it was, And I think that like we're never gonna people that love the first Jurassic Park and maybe the second, and even if you like the third, whatever, aren't gonna love the new series. It's like the whole thing with Star Wars, the prequels versus the
sequel,
the original series, and on the sequel trilogy and all that shit. But I mean, Star Wars is a whole nother ballgame because that fandom can be crazy.
We don't want to speak about Star Wars because we're scared of the fan base.
They're very scary.
It's just I think that like to reinvigorate it, to like bring Jurassic Park back through Jurassic World, I think they did a pretty serviceable job, and they set themselves up well.
Yeah,
I keep going back to Fallen Kingdom. They completely shit the bed in Fallen Kingdom, in my opinion. I thought that one took what you were saying, guys, about like the end of Jurassic Park 2 of Lost World. They're like, let's play with that more because everyone loved that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So that's why I'm a little like hesitant with what's going on here, but with the next one. But hey.
Wait, Derek, didn't you call the Fallen Kingdom like horror house? That's basically is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
it's a tonal shift, dude. Like a complete tonal shift out of nowhere. Like
crazy. It was a very like nerving movie to watch. I mean, obviously,
it's a horror film. Okay.
Wait. How big is your fucking house that dinosaurs can just fit? Up the stairs and out the windows and on the ledges and on the roofs, dinosaurs. This sounds like a fucking children's book. On the roof and out the window, dinosaurs are on the move. Look out on the street. Dinosaurs are on the move. Where the fuck are they at? We don't know. We don't care. Look out the window, George. There's dinosaurs everywhere. Fuck this fucking movie. Like, I sat there. I sat through the first one while they were like, it'd be great if we made the theme park an actual theme park, and so we have roller coasters whipping around dinosaurs' heads while they tried to snatch meals as it went past. You know what that is? That's a fucking sushi boat at an all-you-can-eat joint. That's what y'all just set up, and then you want to be surprised. Also, that movie with those dinosaurs in that house, I audibly groaned like 7 times to the point where the person behind me was like, I have some Pepto-Bismol in my bag if you need to. And I was like, no, I'm not sick. This movie is making me sick. And they were like, me too.
You want me to cup your balls?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Would that make you feel better?
It would. The last 3 Jurassic Park movies, counting this one that's about to come out, scare me because of the fact that there's literally no depths that they won't mine to put these movies out. And it's just getting further and further from the original vision of Jurassic Park. And as somebody who sat for each of these movies and saw them in a movie theater, I feel like this last one is, if it's not the end of this film or the end of this series, it's going to be the end for me, because that one, the horror house one, took a whole lot out of me.
No,
Like,
yeah, I was gonna ask you a question. Like, would you rather them just like hit the reset button?
I would
Just
love for a reboot.
Just wait, do it all over again.
Give it like 10 years and just
again.
reboot the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, like let your kids have it at 15 type of deal. Yeah,
because I feel like they have gotten so far away from the initial vision of Michael Crichton that there's no turning back.
And I'm also super curious to like know, like, does the general population know that like they're based on books and they're not just like original stuff? Like, let's make a dinosaur movie. I'm very interested to know that because like that one flew right over my head. Not gonna lie here.
Yeah, I think that at this point in time, it's like those the folks who were singing about Africa and they were like, do they know it's Christmas time at all? Like, there's no way that the majority of people at this point in time. So they tell this story a lot about the monkeys in the room and the bananas on the top of the ladder. And every time they try to climb the ladder, everybody else gets sprayed with cold water to the point where the monkeys will start attacking the first monkey who will try and climb the ladder. So then they put a new monkey in the room and took the one monkey out. And the one new monkey tried to climb the ladder to get to the bananas. And the rest of the monkeys beat his fucking ass. So this continued on until there were no old monkeys in the room. None of the monkeys who had ever climbed the ladder and gotten sprayed were in the room. Yet, whenever somebody went towards the ladder, they still beat the fuck out of them because that's what they were taught. And so all of a sudden, now all the monkeys were beating the fuck out of each other, and then none of the monkeys wanted to climb the ladder after the bananas. And they never knew why they weren't climbing the ladder. They just didn't. It was just the way that they were told. 95% of the people who are watching this movie have no idea that Michael Crichton wrote a world that was like incredible. That was like magical. And they are just watching Chris Pratt fucking Guardian of the Galaxy his way through movies and fucking pointing at dinosaurs. He's pointing at dinosaurs like he has some. You know what? If this movie doesn't fucking end at the point where he's on a motorcycle chased by velociraptors and fucking skids into a fucking T-Rex in the middle of there's nothing to hide him, there's nothing else around him, it's just chaos. If this movie doesn't end at that point by them saying and everybody died, I'm gonna be very put out. I know that this movie's gonna do amazing numbers. I'm gonna go see it. The kids on my basketball team are gonna go see it. Whatever. It's not logical. This let logic go. And that's the saddest thing to me was that Michael Crichton's books, if you've read them, like not just Jurassic Park, not just The Lost World, but all of his books are so steeped in logic. Like he has the DNA strand sequences. He has everything in these books. And they are taking these movies and they're just like, la, 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 la. I'm just going to color on his pages and just scribble on shit. And we have an aviary. And now here we are.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, I think that the playing God part in this 3-part Jurassic Park took away from it because now we have free reign to do whatever we want. And we don't have to follow the source material. It's like, all right, well, we can just make anything we want. You want to add teeth? Let's add teeth. You want to add them wings? Let's add wings. And
it's like Jeff Goldblum said. We were so excited by the fact that we could do it that nobody stopped to think, should we actually do this? And you know who said that first? He said that in The Lost World when Michael Crichton fucking wrote it.
Well, at least that's fantastic. That they're like actually using it, and then also I love how Jeff Goldblum in this movie is always the the voice of reason.
Does anybody fucking listen to me?
Like, it's funny if you take his character in that and then like Independence Day, they're the same person. They're just like, guys, this is what's going on. Listen to me, and no one listens. They're like, all right, whatever. Fuck it.
Did we try to give the dinosaurs a cold? Did we try to give them a virus, people? Huh? No. What? They're having. They don't need to have sex to recreate. Get the fuck out. Why did y'all do that? Like, why did y'all make them fucking asexual? Like, what exactly are we doing here? What?
Because they had to put male and female DNA from frogs in to complete the DNA strand, but they needed to make sure that they didn't lay frog eggs.
I love it. Like I said, if y'all get the opportunity, please read those 2 books. Just you'll speed through them.
I'll do it for you. I will do it for you. I'm finishing up a book right now, so I will pick up Jurassic.
They're fucking fantastic. Like, honestly, they are. So my top 5 books that became movies: Jurassic Park, The Princess Bride.
Did not expect that.
Oh yeah, The Princess Bride was a book before it was a movie, and it is fucking fantastic. I read that for Ratchet Book Club and damn near cried a few times. The Lost World, and then other shit. I'd have to really stop and think about it. But those are the top 3 right there. And Jurassic Park and The Lost World are in the top 3 for me. So I know that you would enjoy them. It's a really good series.
From the
No Country for Old Men.
From a book standard, is The Lost World like still just as good as Jurassic Park, or is there like a kind of dip in quality, or is it like equal?
It's just as good. It is. Like, he continues the story. It's more of the whole. Basically, Jurassic Park is to life. Jurassic Park and COVID go hand in hand, because Michael Crichton was literally telling folks, never fucking make dinosaurs. You can save the world if you just don't do this. And everybody in the book was like, yeah, you know what, but we can do it though. We can do it. Like it's opposite day. What we're hearing right now is that you want us to make dinosaurs. So if you don't want us to make dinosaurs, what we need you to do is tell us to make dinosaurs. All right, fine, fuck it. Make dinosaurs. Cool. You heard him. He said make dinosaurs. And now here we are 22 years later with dinosaurs walking through a fucking... Ooh, I swear to God, if I was at a drive-in movie theater and a T-Rex just walked straight through that fucker, I'd be high.
It would be so badass to have like a pet raptor, though.
No, what? No.
That is the youngest shit I've ever heard somebody say in my entire life.
Dude, a pet raptor would be so dope. I don't know what.
It would turn on you, Jack.
Look.
Listen, I'm a pretty knowledgeable raptor guy. I've seen all 5 Jurassic Park movies. Okay.
You're not Chris Pratt, though. You can't do it.
Look,
I'm just saying.
Look, I've heard your love letter to Blue through this entire episode, okay? There's no other Blues in the world. Do not go looking for a pet raptor.
The insurance policy would be insane.
Oh my God. The raptor is going to be fucking taller than you. You're going to be walking your raptor.
They fit in houses,
my raptor to work, baby. Ecosystem.
Your neighbors would be in constant fear of like their lives living next to you.
Oh my God.
So badass.
That would not be good. By the way, to add to Jack's point that dinosaurs are dope, Fallen Kingdom has a 47% on Rotten Tomatoes, yet it still made $1.3 billion worldwide. So it was also still very successful.
Because people are inherently stupid. Like, let's be honest. What were the options at that point in time? I believe it was that and fucking Lion King. Like the live action Lion King, which I think was the other option. Like, this is not.
Oh wait, let me see. On opening weekend, it was the second weekend of Incredibles 2 and the third weekend of Ocean's 8. So there wasn't a lot to choose.
So you had the Incredibles 2, which was great, but is not great. And then you had Ocean's 8, which I enjoyed, but a lot of guys were like, we're going to take this shit down the same way we took down that new Ghostbusters movie. And so what's more manly than fucking dinosaurs? Let's go watch that. We sat in a movie theater full, and I know I know. All hate mail could be sent to wretchedandratchet@gmail.com. It's cool. I'll read it. I don't give a fuck. I know where I was when I saw this movie, and it was fucking full of white people because the town was a white person town. We were dropping our kid off at Christian camp, and Christian camp only happens in white towns. This is a rule. It's just the way it fucking works. So we're sitting there watching Jurassic Park hit hit the streets. And one of my kids says to me, Dad, I'm tired. Like, as they're watching the movie, they just say, Dad, I'm tired. And then somebody else literally says, whoa, dinosaurs. And that is the best tagline for this movie that I have for you. I'm tired. ... Woo! Dinosaurs. Jurassic Park. Why the fuck not? That's what this movie should be called. Jurassic Park. We're not fucking around this time. Jurassic Park. Guess who's back? Jurassic Park. You thought he was dead. Jurassic Park. Dinosaur. Jurassic Park. Why not ride him in traffic? Jurassic Park. I'm going to get a raptor as a pet. Jurassic Park. They thought this was going to actually work. You know what? Real talk. I would be fucking furious. If I'm on a fishing boat and that big ass dinosaur came up from underneath and ate my whole fucking catch. I will be furious because I know he's not going to let go until he gets me in his mouth too, and there's nowhere for me to run. I quit. You know what? At that point in time, you cannot pay me enough to get in the water where there's a dinosaur. Did you tell them at the interview that there's a fucking dinosaur in the region where we are fishing?
The ocean. If there were dinosaurs now, the ocean would be an absolute hard no for me. Like, right? I'm already I like the water now, but like I'm not going out there.
I'm not flying. I'm not going on a cruise ship. I'm not going to the movies. Every movie I go to has to be inside Christian my house. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're flying on an airplane, and all of a sudden, you just feel pressure on top of the fucking airplane as a fucking pterodactyl lands on top of the airplane because pterodactyls can do what the fuck they want, and you crash. The end. Fuck that shit.
So with the new film opening this weekend, I was wondering what you guys, because we tried and failed to predict Top Gun's opening weekend box office. Well, we're gonna try this again. What do you think it's going to open to? Just a frame of reference for the last two. Jurassic World 2015 opened to 208.8 million, and then Fallen Kingdom was 148. Where do you think this was?
In this world of COVID is officially over, I have this movie opening to 400 million. And I know that sounds crazy, but yet I just have a feeling that in the first weekend, every theater is going to be packed like this is a fucking coming out party because people want to prove that summer movies can still be viable and the COVID is behind us. And so, okay, maybe not 400 million, but I think it will do an easy $225 million.
Wow.
Oof.
225. Okay.
Oof.
Steep.
Right. Joe, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we saw from Top Gun is that the summer blockbuster season is going to be an actual summer blockbuster season. Mm-hmm. Partly because people believe that COVID's gone.
Dinosaurs!
We did it. George Bush, we did it. Mission accomplished. I think I'm trying to think like in terms of some other movies that have come out recently. I think Doctor Strange was like 185-ish. And I think this is probably going to do around there. Honestly, I think this is going to be around 180. But it's gonna do better than Top Gun is. because I think it's dinosaurs. We keep going back to that, but that's why these movies have done so well. There is an appetite for going to the theater. This is the type of movie that you see on the big screen, right? Arguably Top Gun is as well, but you want to see a movie with giant like animatronic / CGI creatures attacking people on a big screen, and that's why this will do well.
I would really like it if it did 187.
It's a very specific number.
I know, right? It's the California code for murder. So if it did 187, I'd be very happy.
I gotta redeem myself here.
75.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, Jack, dinosaurs are fucking dope.
All right, yeah. First off, I think we all know what the episode title of this episode is going to be.
Woo! Dinosaurs!
Dinosaurs are dope and woo, dinosaurs. I'm gonna go with 205 and a half.
Okay.
I think it's title of the episode speaks for itself. Dinosaurs are fucking dope. And I think this one will just be like the summer blockbusters back, but I think it's just gonna have the kids involved in a little bit more. That'll just add a couple million more on just the ticket box office, I think.
You know what? We also didn't factor in, and I'm being absolutely serious when I say this while still rolling my eyes as I say this. There might be people who go watch this movie just to support Chris Pratt because of all the backlash that he's getting on social media.
He's not normal. He is not normal.
No.
I also forgot to mention and Jack, you just alluded to this a little bit, but the multiverse of Jurassic Park here, like bringing back the original trio, all of them together.
That too. Good point.
I think I forgot to mention that, but I think that's a big pull too, because people that remember them from the beginning are like, oh, they're coming back. It's good enough for them. It's going to be good enough for me. But what's good enough for them is that paycheck they're getting. So I don't know. I love Laura Dern. I'm pumped to see her back in it. But that first trailer when they showed her and Alan talking, I was like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah.
If it hits 225, y'all better have me back on this show for a fucking victory lap.
No, you're already coming back for the show. I just want to hear. I just want to hear more.
True.
The international reviews that have hit, and it's not many that are on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's at like 89%. But who knows?
The
what
reviews
that means
for Fallen Kingdom were literally, seriously, guys, cut this shit out. I know that was a review because I wrote it. Seriously, guys, what
Stop
the fuck? Fallen Kingdom was the equivalent of Stop Hitting Yourself, the movie. That's what it felt like.
Actually, I think the social embargo just lifted at midnight.
Oh yeah, because you're an East Coaster.
Yep. Wait, here, can I just share one that I just saw? Let's be clear. It doesn't matter what I say about Jurassic World Dominion. It's going to make so much money. It defies logic. It's a movie where things just happen and people know things because smoke a joint, go drunk, and have the time of your life. Nostalgia on overdrive.
That sounds just about right,
baby.
That sounds just about perfect.
Yo, I need to know who wrote that review because that guy just sold me.
Clayton Davis.
Shout out Clayton Davis. That was awesome.
Like inexplicably.
It's a dinosaur movie. Like what the people understand? Like I don't understand what people expect ultimately. Like the logic piece is what gets me. I don't go into any of these movies thinking there's going to be any fucking logic, with the exception of the first two, because as was mentioned earlier, all of Crichton's works, every book you read from him are science. The story is scientifically based,
Mm-hmm.
and they're tight and they're fascinating. Now, like, we're clearly apart from that, and love it or hate it, don't go in there being like, oh, A and B, or the A plus B is going to equal C, or 1 plus 2 is going to equal 3. That's not going to happen.
Mm-mm. You're going in there. So I am from a place where if my mom calls me from work one day when I was 9 or 10 years old and says, your teacher called me, I'm whooping your ass when I get home. At the point where my mom calls me into her room at 7 o'clock at night, I'm not surprised at what happens next. I know what happens next in this storyline. And that's where we are now with Jurassic Park. You're going to get a whooping. That's what's going to happen when you walk in that room. It's going to be something where, you just got to relax and take it. Like, it's going to be pleasant for you as long as you stop fucking struggling and just submit to the fucking wildness that's about to happen in front of you. Like, that's really it. For all the shit that I give these movies, I'm going to go watch it, and I'm going to walk out of it like that was a good opener to the summer movie. That's what this is. It is an opener to the summer movie. The last movie that I saw that was an opener to the summer movie to this caliber was fucking Skyscraper by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
It was starring Neve Campbell.
That is right. And somehow I forgot she was in it because I thought that the movie starred Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and duct tape. And I walked out of that movie thinking, okay, now the summer can start. And that's how I feel about this movie too. 2 weeks after this movie comes out, I will forget everything that happened in this movie, but I'll be ready for the next big movie to happen. Period.
So someone else that I really agree with, like I usually agree with, just said that it's their favorite of the trilogy, and it's just fun and blah blah blah. And someone at the bottom goes, "I didn't see Jurassic the two that came before this. Will I be lost if I skip right to to Dominion?" And someone respond, "What the fuck? Yes." What the fuck? Yes. All right, I'm done. I need to stop reading them.
That's amazing.
Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World. I'm not even joking. The Lost World, I love it. I love it in a way that people really give me looks when I say how great it is. But you have to just
It's awesome.
You have to think about the fact that Jeff Goldblum was given a Michael Crichton script and was told make magic happen and did his damnedest to Jeff Goldblum his way through science fiction like he did with The Fly. So, in my decision, in my mind, it is The Lost World, Jurassic Park 1, Jurassic Park 3, and then all this fuckery that happened.
Derek's gonna hate me.
Oh no, I won't. I know what you're gonna, because you're young. You're young.
No, that's fair. It's fair. I'll take that any day of the week.
Boomer.
See you guys later. No, definitely. I'll go OG Jurassic Park number 1, and then I'll do the next trilogy number 1. What the hell? Whatever that was called, Jurassic World with Chris Pratt. Whatever. Okay, yeah, Jurassic World, right? And then
we're
3,
back.
yeah, right. And then 3, actually, I'm gonna go with the original Jurassic Park 3. I just love the Raptors, so pretty biased towards that one the entire time. But yeah, it was an hour and 30-minute movie, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'll never forget what a sat phone sounds like after that movie.
Or a shit phone.
Oh, all 5. Oh, those are top 3. Oh, all 5. Yeah. Then Fallen Kingdom, and then this last one, Fallen Kingdom. Yeah, Lost World, whatever. I'm not good with the names. I do numbers.
Yeah, I go the OG Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, the Lost World, Jurassic Park right after that. That was a close one. I was like really torn between those two. Jurassic Park 3 and then the Fallen Kingdom, because the Fallen Kingdom was just ass.
Yeah.
I'm telling y'all, if y'all don't put a stop to this soon, they're gonna come out with a movie starring fucking Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, and it's gonna be called Jurassic Cousins, and it's gonna be like a cartoon of people, and it's gonna be on Netflix, and it's gonna be in the kids section only. And watch, just fucking watch. It's gonna be so far away. Michael Crichton, rest in peace. You didn't deserve this shit.
Derek, you're way off. It's going to be Vin Diesel starring in the crossover of like Too Crustaceous, Too Furious or something.
And it's going to be We Are Family, and it's going to be a family of raptors behind him.
I was going to say, and Blue is going to be behind him on a motorcycle with fucking glasses on.
No. Vin Diesel has a chariot with 2 raptors towing him forward.
It's going to be a Lion King-esque live-action remake with Vin Diesel playing Blue.
Oh, my God. He's going to play both himself and Blue.
Blue. Jared Leto is also in the movie.
Jared Leto will run faster than everybody else. The color streak will come across the screen. Bats will suddenly attack somebody else who's a vampire, just like he's a fucking vampire for no reason.
That's why Neve Campbell isn't doing Scream 6, because she's waiting for that paycheck.
Man. What the fuck was his friend's name before he gave him the nickname Heard Around the World? Like, he said it once. He said, my name is this. And Morbius, who was a fucking asshole, was like, no, it's not. It's this. The reason why it's this is because the kid who was here before you, who died, his name was this.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't feel like meeting anybody new, so your name is this, because you're going to die too. And the doc was like, he's fucking right.
No wonder he turned into the villain.
You're my brother. No, the fuck I'm not. You literally named me a dead kid and waited.
Tired of this Morbius slander. Someone's got to say, but someone has to defend it. And if it's gonna be me, it better be an irrational defense.
Oh my God. You know what? The thing about the people are like, yo, why do you have Regal Unlimited? And the reason why I have Regal Unlimited, and I know this sounds like a commercial, but Regal has this thing going on where if you see 3 movies, like 3 Sony movies, they send you the digital versions of those 3 movies.
Yep.
So Spider-Man Far From Home, that's the second one, right? Not Homecoming, but Far From Home. Okay, so I had to watch that and something else, and then a third movie, and I got all 3 of those for free in a block. And then COVID happened, and they stopped doing it. But they started doing it again for Venom, Let There Be Carnage, Spider-Man No Way Home, and Morbius. And that's the reason why I saw fucking Morbius. Because Morbius is the last movie of these 3 movies, so I could get the Spider-Man movie that I actually wanted. And so my wife and I sat in the back of the movie, like all the way in the back, like them 2 motherfuckers from the Muppet Show. And
we know what you were doing in the corner. We know what was happening in the corner.
It was an empty theater. It was my time to shine. But we sat in the back and made fun of that movie relentlessly. and I wouldn't change a thing. So as far as a science fiction 3000 thing going on, or whatever the fuck that thing is called, I would say get that movie, smoke some weed, turn the volume down, and just do fucking voiceovers, and it is greatness. But when you let them actually talk in that movie, it makes no fucking sense whatsoever. All bets are off, period.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's a big difference between the two. Like, one of those sounds like he's just got a cold. The other one sounds like he's literally Morbius. Like, he's just laid up.
I got this. Don't worry. I've watched old enough to it. So first off, I want to thank my man Joe and my man Derik for hopping on the podcast. If you guys want to plug your ads, do it right now. Por favor, where you at? Before anything, Derik, let's keep it to like 2 podcasts.
Oh no, I got you. Linktree /SSCast has all of my shit on it. So Linktree /SSCast is literally where you can find all my shows. That's it. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I have a link tree too. I don't remember what I named it, but you could just go to guidethemovies.com. Everything's there.
Yeah, we'll toss both their link trees in the bio when it is. But of course, we got to give a shout out to our guys and ladies over at Playlist Studios. We appreciate all the hard work you guys do for us. I mean, you guys crank out an episode every week for us and get all the bells and whistles. So shout out to Playlist Studios. Thank you guys so much. Gaius, thank you for leading the way, getting the link out for us. Owen, we miss you. And now it's actually my part. Actually, no, wait. I have one more part. Sorry, I forgot. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple TV, on Apple Podcasts, not on Apple TV just yet, or YouTube, or anywhere else you listen to podcasts. And we hope you enjoyed this episode. But lastly, before anything, you know what's happening. People, you got one homework assignment this week, and you know what it is. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Give us a good comment. Give us a bad comment. Share with one of the homies. Do anything. All it is we want to get the algorithm on our side, and we want to have a good time doing it. So hope you guys have a good week. This comes out on Thursday, so we're on Monday. So have a good week, you guys too, and love you guys. That's it.
You should finish your thing off by saying "Jack off."
That's the end of the episode. Good night.